What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 94 of my Total Warhammer 3 Vlad and Isabella Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we had a classic Vampire Count's defense as Jacob Bachman stood in Blizzard Peak against piles of Dolgan Norskins. They were unable to breach the lines of marauders, of zombies. I suppose some of the zombies were probably raised marauders, so sure. As well as the skeleton warriors, and all of their armies were destroyed. I doubt that the faction has anything else right now, especially as it is a rather weak, so Jacob should be able to pick up some of these territories before the ghouls come down to start moving up north, or at least one of them. I would like to, per the comments, send at least one via the sea all the way down to Hexoatl, as I would like to get the Hexoatl faction to be our vassals as well, and we'll need to conquer some territories down there. Now, before we get started on this episode, one quick note: the votes or the polls for the next campaigns, for those interested, are currently up in the community tab, so do cast your votes if you're interested in seeing some other factions. It'll be one vanilla campaign and two SFO Grimhammer 3 modded campaigns that are coming up. I'm a big proponent of SFO myself, so I'm looking to enjoy those quite a bit. And all the votes matter because regardless of which faction wins, I do take a look at the interest in other factions as well in deciding future campaigns. Anyway, let's see what we gotta do this turn. Vlad, we'll start with you. As always, you're at the top of the list. Now, there's no reason for you to move back. I was going to potentially have you attack Bellicor, but with these guys here, there may not actually be much point to it anymore. May actually just have to bypass this and just have you hunt down Valkia. That might be nice. She's out here, right? No, Ragnar, Balefire, Siggy's over here. I think Siggy also has a decent defeat trait now. I don't see Valkia, but I'm sure we'll find her. Anyway, Vlad, time to move. I don't think there's any port that anybody could sail out of to attack you, so it's not like you care. Let's see about the other lords here. Now, Aldous, I was going to have you sack or raise the Fortress of the Damned, probably a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B, but we should probably stop Throg from doing anything, so let's just auto-resolve Serpent Jetty real quick. It looks like it's full of garbage, so it sounds like these guys will stand against you. Close victory, but frankly, not really. And there we go. And don't bother sacking it, just occupied. And ooh, another Staff of Damnation. I like to have one of those in every army, so that's not the worst pickup in the world. Don't bother collecting the income, at least while the chaos corruption is very high all over here. Now, before I was saying we probably don't need to bother with the Norscan territories, but now I'm slightly changing my mind, or at least maybe we will not bother with the Norscan territories, but you know what, yeah, let's not build those. But while these things can go to our allies, I feel like maybe we will keep these territories up here. Now the problem is, I'm not actually sure that the Cathians are programmed to be up here, or at least they might be programmed specifically not to be up here. And on top of that, if they're unable to manage their corruption, the enemy factions that we're destroying here will revive, and I really don't like that either. So maybe we just keep a hold of these territories north of the Great Bastion instead. Might work out better for us. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Bathilda, 'tis time, I suppose, for you to get to work once more. You don't really need the levels. We could have Nikola attack, but frankly, let's see what we're facing off against. These guys are going to be quite weak. Frankly, we don't even need Nikola to fight either one of them. Could either of you reach Hadar here? Not cool, Hadar. Sure, Hadar should be a Chaos or a Beastman name. But anyway, you... we could move away so that these guys are less likely to run away, but I feel like Hadar is also going to run from Nikola as well. You could also land and try to go after Lord Skrolk, but I suppose Bathilda could do the same thing. Once again, we really don't need the help to attack these guys.
I thirst. Yes, Neferata was right.
You know what? Let's attack for now. And I guess it's not going to make much of a difference. And you are going to move away. And then I guess if they both move away in the same place, we'll just have Bathilda chase them both down. And then I guess you... Ooh, wait. Ooh, wait. Bathilda, can you reach Lord Scroll? You can reach Lord Scroll. Oh my. Okay, change of plans. We could use Nicola to try to fight these guys. It'll be a lot more dangerous. But then Bathilda could take out Lord Scroll and move in to take out some dwarfs over here. Together with Peter, I suppose. You know, that's not bad. And that is not bad at all. And Lord Scroll, well, not the greatest army in the world, but certainly worth fighting. Let's have Bathilda fight it cinematically then. Very nice. Unfortunate that he was in March stance like that. He has, well, he stands no chance at all here. Alrighty, Bathilda's back, and I suppose we haven't had too many fights yet with Bathilda's additional Mortis Engine and additional Corpse Guard, or not Corpse Guard, Black Coach. I do think that we should get at least one more Black Coach in here, mostly because this is our magical chariot army, and I do think that we may as well lean into this at this point in the game. As I've said before, we won plenty of battles before we leaned too heavily into this, as I don't necessarily want to make a doom stack of nothing but Black Coaches and stuff, but at this point it's not like it matters, as it's so late into the campaign anyway. Now Bathilda's gonna land and start off with an overcast Wind of Death right through the enemy formation, doing a very decent job at hitting lots and lots of units. In fact, let's see, taking out, well, it's probably not 400. I assume a lot of those units were already hurt. I just want to see, where is Bathilda? What do we got in terms of kills here? Oh, for nearly 300 kills from that one spell. Not too bad, considering the enemy wasn't actually blobbed up or forced to stay in place by our units. Well, here come the Mortis Engines and the Black Coaches there. They're immediately going to stop all of those Plague Claws from firing, as well as those Rattling Guns, which are definitely a threat to Bathilda and her vampires, and, well, probably the Coaches as well, as they could definitely knock them out of the sky. On the bright side, though, with this many Mortis Engines and Black Coaches, we're not all that concerned. Looks like Bathilda's getting a nice little duel with Lord Skrolk there, although it's not looking like it's gonna last very long. Lord Skrolk is basically dead already. Bathilda's completely unharmed, and, well, I guess we shouldn't be all that surprised by this. And we are not even going to bother chasing him down with Bathilda, I think, or maybe we are, but the vampires are a little bit faster, so they're probably better off doing the chasing. There we go. She knocked him down to, what, 95% or by 95% HP or something. As for the rest of his army, it's in absolute shambles at this point. We are getting our Black Coaches and our Mortis Engines focusing on what they need to focus, i.e. the Mortis Engines are primarily going after blobbier units of infantry, whereas the Black Coaches are doing little duels with Doom Wheels and such. I'd actually be curious to see which one would win in a one-on-one, but I think we're probably not going to be finding out this time. Bathilda's also hunting down an enemy Warlock Engineer who should be dead very quickly, and our vampires can help out by killing other Doom Wheels and other single entities. Oh look, a Doom Wheel's coming in to help that Mortis Engine. Yes, sure, you want to fight a zombie dragon there? Seems like that's not an ideal target for a Doom Wheel. And here come the vamps. Not that Bathilda needed help against the Doom Wheel, of course, but just for fun. I'd like to see it explode. There we go. Honestly, I feel like there should be a bigger and greener explosion when a Doom Wheel pops. It seems a little bit too, reserved, I suppose. Some smaller explosion than you would think for that frickin' contraption. I mean, it's all crazy and lightning-y. There we go. I mean, there's a little bit of lightning that explodes. Huh. I wonder, if a bunch of infantry units are standing near a Doom Wheel when it explodes, you know how, like, when steam tanks explode, they do damage? Or is that just the special steam tank? I think it might just be the special steam tank. I gotta look into it. Or maybe the special steam tank explodes with more force and self-destructs. But I feel like that might be a thing that the Doom Wheels should have. Although I haven't seen enough Doom Wheels exploded in the middle of an infantry formation to know exactly. Anyway, a pretty trivial, easy battle as the enemy just did not have any kind of chance. But not to worry, we have another battle that we could get to with a lot more elite troops. With those two armies belonging to Lord Skrulk, so there's plenty more where that came from. Well, it's not like we expected them to stand any kind of chance against Bathilda. Let's return those captives for a little bit of extra cash, and down goes Kroki. What do we get for defeating him? Immune to swamp attrition and... terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Yes.
I do wish some lords' defeat traits were better than others. Now, out of curiosity, if you go here, would you be in range or not? You're very close to it. Yes, she would. Oh my, we can even get her to help with these guys. Absolutely perfect. Well, we will do that in a second. Let's spread out the admin at least a little bit, so that, well, per usual reasons. Rudy, you've got places to be, my friend. Do we attack the... do we attack Nagaron now? We should probably start attacking them now. The only problem with attacking them immediately is it would draw the Avalorn elves into the fight right now as well. And the issue with that is, of course, the fact that they would then immediately take these territories. I'd like to give them back to Nagaroth because, well, frankly, Avalorn has a decent amount of stuff already. So to the wreck. And I'll resolve this. That was way too much damage. We're gonna have to heal up. And did we get anything useful out of that? We got a Warlock ambush defense chance, sure. And lost cargo, alright, well, that's certainly worth our time. And a Razor Standard as well. Okay, that was very much worth our time. Now, you can't land here because of the living, unfortunately. Yeah, you're gonna have to figure out a way to heal yourself. In fact, I think perhaps while we will declare war, we will start, instead of from the Black Forests, from Slaver's Point. Take it and heal there. And then move outward. Maybe crush these guys between several of our forces, and by then perhaps the Avalorn elves will have moved away. Granted, they could help, but once again, I'd really like for Nagaroth to be a little bit stronger. Peter, you cannot yet reach the Al-Kalabad territory, but you could move relatively close to it and be able to reach it next turn when we declare war on the Greybeards Prospectors, the worst faction in the entire game. Yes, I hold grudges. Roderick, you are going to move towards the Fortress of Eyes, but you, I guess, will have to go in a raiding stance in our own territory while you do it. Yeah, it'll be a while before the corruption is nice here. Oh my lord, it's going to take a long time to get to this place.
You cannot deceive the deceiver.
You know what, maybe for one turn, you should move in march stance. These guys could probably also charge you, but even then, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Let them come. If they're willing to fight you, then that's great for them. We will go into raiding stance for one turn, maybe, unless we can reach Fortress of Eyes next turn, just as we are, in which case we'll just straight up attack it. Also, let's get that Balefire Hearth up and running. I don't really care about the growth as much in these territories, but, well, more Balefire Braziers. A little bit on the expensive side, but once again, what can you do? Let us upgrade you, man. 10 turns. Considering how slow our turns are at the current time, 10 turns is gonna take a while, though once we finish up in several places, maybe they will start going relatively quickly again. But yeah, really don't want to spend 5.6k on this, but, you know, if we want to hold on to the territory, or these territories, I guess we don't have much of a choice in the matter. Also, Fortress of Eyes. How much is stuff here? 3k. Let's go Gibbet. And let's go Balefire Brazier. No extra growth, but we can get it out of the Volary. Alright, what's up next? Roddy's moved, Eldest has moved, Renki's about to fight Village, or I guess after Bathilda fights. Yos, you are gonna have to go around. Nah, there's no way these guys attack, and even if they do, they'll die. In fact, I'm willing to bet that they're going to run. Wait, are they under siege? Oh, they're not even at war with each other. Huh. I'm 90% sure this guy's gonna move towards Wrecker's Point. Which will be annoying, but, well, what can you do? Let's see what else we got. Ermine.
My lord of death.
You are in range of a full stack. It's not much of a full stack, however, so I think we're good to continue as we are. Still a little bit dangerous, still need to acquire a Mortis engine from frickin' somewhere. But damn me if I know where. Alright, well, we'll wait on that a little bit, or continue waiting on that. Wallach and Waller, you're about to join hands, or join units at the very least. You're gonna go right there. And, okay, yeah, you're gonna suffer attrition, Wallach, but that's fine. Assuming that we're not going to fight Kroggar, but if we do, we'll send Wallach back down. I just, well, yeah, we don't really need Waller right now. We can always bring him back. And I like to keep Waller as a lord we can summon to defend anywhere. He's reasonably high level at this point, and he can raise some pretty okay stuff. So you are gonna move here, and you are going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. I guess we okay. Wait. Take the higher level Graveguard. I guess that's going to be this army then. Alright. We have more ranged units than we have Graveguard. Kind of unusual for a vampire army, but should be pretty nice. Plus, you can't discount the fact that Necromancers and Warlock can all summon zombies to get in the way of things that are going to charge those. I'll be excited to see how this army performs. We're going to send it out this way for now, because it doesn't look like these guys will die without our intervention. So away you go, Warlock. And Waller, for now, my friend, you gotta go away. Out Gravedigger and Luckstone, and this expensive army, 63k, 63.4, up to 71. Damn, that was expensive. Waller will be back, I'm sure. And Maldwin, you can have Steinbeck join you, unless we can get a better Necro. Cunning's okay, actually. What do you have again? It's like Determined or something garbage? Fleet-footed. Well, you know what? Fleet-footed may not be so bad, but you actually have to keep pace with the Mortis engines, so probably won't make much of a difference. I'm sure you'll be fine. Replenish troops, Invocation of the Heck, let's max you out as best we can. Grave Ward, sure. You're probably never going to get into combat, but you never know. Evasion, let's get Magical Reserves, Earthling, Wind of Death, unlikely to be used in our Air Force army, but once again, you never know. Van Hal's Dance Macabre, no Mentor, 1 level short, Gaze of Nagash, and that's everything. Alright. Oh, wait, no. 1 point in Curse of Years, and I guess we can start moving through Boost Income and then Specialist. Not that, once again, it matters. Maldwin, your troops are replenished, and your army is complete. Ludicrously expensive, though it may be. Frankly, we should probably replace some of these bats with the Vargeists, or more Vargeists, because they're cheap. But you know what? Let's wait until the bats die, and then we'll do so. Obviously, we also want some flying vampires to help out with this, but we don't have the capacity right now. Now, since you're a little bit busy, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have your first battle be at sea. Put you out in March stance, so just in the hopes that that guarantees that you can sail. Good. And this will be where you figure out whether your army is viable or not. In my Drika campaign, we've just gotten a full aerial army as well, and it works quite well, quite surprisingly well, considering it's faced off against multiple stacks by itself, and in a settlement at that, so hopefully Maldwin can repeat that sort of thing. Anyway, with that, I believe, while that's not the end of the moves, we can once again get into another fight. More Skaven to kill here, of course.
Drink them dry.
Nicola, you're gonna attack. Bathilda, you're gonna reinforce. These guys can no longer run a Pyrrhic victory, according to this lying auto-resolve. Let's see about that, shall we?
martyr's hide.
Alrighty, here we go. I am excited about this one. Lord Skrolk may have been an easy kill / his army, but this is a pretty good set of enemies. We got lots of enemy elite troops and a decent amount of infantry as well to blob up in front of those troops and block us from killing them. They've got plenty of mutant rat ogres between both armies. They got doom wheels, rattling guns, some elite infantry as well with storm vermin and sensor bearers and plague monks and all that sort of stuff. Should be a pretty fun time. Alright, well, we're gonna speed it up, though. We are going to get into formation here before we move in. Bathilde's also on the field, though, so she is going to start annoying the enemy, maybe even dropping by and killing some of those elites. Probably want to whittle down the number of mutant rat ogres or lords or something before we get there. Speaking of whittling them down, we'll start that off. We can just see the shadow, not bad, of the spirit leeches, and one of the things we like about Bathilde's army is that all of her vampires and she herself has those spirit leeches, so lots of access to that. The enemy rattling guns trying to gun down Bathilde and do damage to her before she lands, and do succeed in taking a good 10 to 15% of HP off, but now they're engaged and they won't have too much and that they'll be able to achieve after this. Even if Bathilde were to leave, she can simply summon the, well, she looks happy about all that, she can simply summon zombies on top of them and just to distract them. Another spirit leech coming down again on that enemy warlord. He's losing HP even though he's not technically directly being fought with. Both of the vampires have decided to take a duel with each one of the enemy mutant rat ogres, vastly debuffing them between the Helm of Discord, Seduction, and the Withering, and their stats are 0 armor, 5 melee attack, and 15 melee defense, so they should go down fairly quickly, and in fact one of them's already below half HP and shaken already. There is still another enemy lord to take care of in the middle of that, but we do have zombies summoned to distract him while we have our little duels. And I'd love for Bathilde to go kill him immediately, but we just need to make sure that those rattling guns are gone. It looks like this army will be at least halfway to death before the second army gets here, but the second army has some good stuff, and it is good for the enemy that they start all the way on the edge here, because their plague claw catapults are a little bit out of reach for us right now, and thus may be able to actually deal some damage to the rest of our army, which is slowly making its way forward, as obviously undead infantry are pretty darn slow. We've also got rat ogres, doom flayers, and a doom wheel moving in as reinforcements, warp fire throwers, rattling guns, and poison wind globadiers, so a decent mix of units. I'd appreciate this sort of army. But back to it, more zombies come down in the middle of the enemy host here, and looks like Bathilde's getting a little bit of a fight with another mutant rat ogre. Looks like it's mutant rat ogres versus vampires today, at least to some degree. There's that next spirit leech. This, I believe, is the 4th one that we've used so far, and that should mean that even more are coming in shortly. It does, however, look like the warlord has joined the fray, and our vampires have started to take a little bit of damage, both dropping to about half HP, though we do have to remember that we do have Invocation of Nehek on top of the fact that we have Immortal Will, which heals quite a bit. And we also going to cast a Pit of Shades right in the middle of the enemy blob here, not so much because we needed to do damage, but because we need a little bit of extra space for our vampires to potentially move around and maneuver. More spirit leeches. Those spirit leeches just don't stop and are coming down, but here comes Bathilde's coach blob, or magic chariot blob, the 3 mortis engines as well as all those black coaches, though of course the mortis engines don't necessarily need to move together. And meanwhile, while this is happening, the 2 armies are heading directly towards each other with a unit of warp grinders right in the middle, so they could cause a nice warp quake and deal some damage. And we've also outmaneuvered the enemy army with our Hex Wraiths, who are pretty darn quick, as well as our Blood Knights and a Terrorgeist, in the hopes of destroying these pieces of artillery before they can achieve anything. There we go. Nice that we have a little unit of Hex Wraiths in this army, specifically to do this. I really should be using Hex Wraiths more, especially since they're one of my favorite units, but I haven't used them nearly as much in this campaign as I would normally like to. The problem is with our cavalry-heavy armies, they're all Blood Knight armies, and Blood Knights are just objectively way better, so that's kind of the issue. I do want to build another ghostly army, though, or at least a little bit more focused on ghosts, or maybe like a half-ghostly army. Ooh, nice warp quake. Rudy can't be the only one that has ethereal units. Also, to answer a comment in one of the previous episodes, yes, I'd love to get some Banshees on the field. We've been building the Banshee buildings in several places for quite a while at this point. It's just that the turns go by so slow at this point, since we have so many armies to move and so many battles to fight, that it's taking a while to actually build those buildings. And since we have no current capacity to build Banshees, we're just waiting for the buildings to come up. And man, look at this little blob of units fighting each other. The Doom Wheels, the coaches, all those Skaven contraptions, the monstrous rat ogres, or monstrous mutant rat ogres, and the crypt horrors looking small by comparison, but mobbing those big boys. Very, very nice. There's that other mutant rat ogre, another spirit leech coming down onto one of the enemy doom wheels as one of the vampires gives chase. It looks like the enemy lord is either dead or routing somewhere. The mutant rat ogres are in a similar position. This one's nearly dead, this one's wavering. Packmaster's done, and there's one storm vermin unit that's still fighting. And we are now going to switch the battle to up here, where our second lord is going... Oh, she doesn't have a mount. Well, I guess she still got here with the rest of her army, to be fair. But that's fine. Nicola might even get a mount as a reward for this battle, but if she was gonna move with the infantry anyway, not a big deal. Fortunately, we've managed to tie up a lot of the enemy units. Our Vargulf has moved in to try to tie up the, I want to say, rattling guns, but unfortunately immediately gets surrounded by the units of Storm Vermin with halberds. Also, I really like this color scheme on the rats here. Yeah. Clan Pestilence has a really nice color scheme. I like, yeah, it's green, but for some reason it feels like it's really, it really works with the Skaven. I guess that's a combination of the green and the brown color scheme. It feels like this is like the Skaven's normal color scheme, you know? I mean, Clan Scryer is also green, but a little bit brighter, so maybe that's why. Alrighty, well, let's just see. Balance of power is at about 85 to 95%. Most of our army is giving chase to those units that are routing in, and yes, indeed, it looks like the battle will be decided up here. Bathilda comes back in and starts dueling another enemy lord, the Grey Seer, who is going to get yet another Spirit Leech, because it is a day for Spirit Leeches, apparently. Vargulf still holding on, though now starting to take quite a bit of damage to those Storm Vermin, at about half HP, but Nicola has moved in with some help, and a Necromancer can surely help out by healing all that up. The Blood Knights are also charging into the back of the enemy formations together with the Terrorgeist and a Black Coach, and I think we just have too many elite units at this point for the enemy to do anything about. There's another Warp Lightning coming down into the middle of our formation of Skeleton Warriors and such. Gotta love that spell, but it ain't going to achieve all that much here. Crypt Horrors are moving in, and there we go. Looks like all the enemy units started turning all of a sudden, and that should be them scurrying away as the battle is ours. We don't technically have to chase anybody down because the enemy already moved away, so these two armies will be destroyed, and Skrolk's little invasion force is pretty much done for. Looks like Bathilda didn't quite kill that second enemy lord, though she does remain at full HP, but that's okay because he'll once again just die. And we can steal some items as well, because clearly we need more. I'm not even being sarcastic. We have so many armies and so many heroes and lords at this point that we just keep needing more items to equip everybody. Probably in a few episodes I'll take another like half an hour or hour to retool some of the items, as in swap them out and stuff. I did that like 10 episodes ago at this point, but it will soon be time to do it again. I just want a few more item types built up before I do that, because it's a huge pain when you have so many units. Not that it isn't fun, but I still like to do it off screen, because, you know, I don't want to waste a whole episode doing nothing but item swaps when I can just show off what's done afterwards. Anyway, another decisive victory for Bathilda. She's certainly come back in strength now with 2 battles essentially in a row. And I guess we will be sending her southward, I think. Let's figure this out. Alrighty, 2 more Skaven armies destroyed. They really shouldn't have sailed all the way out here. And I feel like it's been way too long since Bathilda has gotten herself a nice double feature. Much less one where actual damage was dealt to the army, even though the said damage was extremely slight. We could heal up, but it would also be... might as well. It wouldn't heal up Bathilde's army, but Bathilde's army doesn't really need the healing all that much anyway, so who cares? Alrighty, and we got a Sword of Strife as well as some XP for both armies. I suppose the question will be whether to leave Bathilda here or not. We were going to sail somebody down to the Fortress of Dawn. I was hoping that the Temple Avenue of Gold would have fallen by now, but, ooh, I see that the Caverns of Sotek are actually, owned by the Ghost of Pahwaks. You know what? That's really, really good. That's really, really good because if we can take it, we can trade it to them and possibly vassalize them as long as these guys still hold it. In fact, that has to now be our priority, I think. Maldwin, we're gonna sail you straight down here. I don't know whether you can manage to pull that off, but, well, that'll be the test for your Air Force, I suppose. You're reasonably well leveled at this point. You have no buffs for your Air Force, unfortunately, and the Unliving Host is completely wasted on you. But you do have Brooding Horrors, and it's not going to be that difficult to get Creatures of the Night anyway, so, yeah. Hopefully you don't get too damaged fighting that Skull Island, and hopefully we can reach the Temple Avenue before we need to go elsewhere, or rather before it gets taken by Kroq-Gar. And the other question is, once again, whether we send Bathilda southward to take the Dawn's Landing here from Tzeentch, or whether we can entrust Nicola to do it. Frankly, I'm inclined to say we send Bathilda down, because Peter is here. He can command the destruction of the Greybeard's Prospectors, and Nicola, I suppose, can help out a little bit, so that Peter doesn't have to do everything by himself. Yeah, alright, I've convinced myself. Alrighty, so you, Bathilda, are moving down. Nicola, you're going to support Peter, insofar as he even needs it. And there you go. And you two together should be able to take care of those Greybeard's Prospectors. We also have to watch out. Arkan will declare war on us. It's inevitable. And it's unclear when exactly it'll happen, but I imagine will be about 5 turns that he'll get angry enough. If he doesn't, then we'll declare war on him, but we gotta remember that he has a bunch of territories that are essentially interspersed with ours, and so are his armies. He's currently fighting Telaqua and Tzeentch, and thus is also likely to move southward where, well, fortunately, where a few more of our armies are. Anyway, unfortunately with that, we are once more out of time, and I am going to have to call this episode here. We will begin next episode with a little bit of admin, followed by the battle of Renki versus Village. This will probably be the last time we ever see Village, as he will be dead very shortly, or his faction will be destroyed very shortly. Otherwise, we will maybe get a battle against Archaon, as when we end the turn, we will probably be ending it right beside him out here. Though he might wuss out, it's kind of hard to tell. We also need to join these zombies together so that we can put the Necro in this army. And before I forget, like so. And you have a Balefire. Ooh, we need to switch that. Oh, I really don't like how Richard Lichmore here is a regular Necro Lord, and he doesn't even have a steed, so Archaon could just, or Archaon could chase him down. And we may want to replace him with a Vampire Lord, and just so that he can actually fight. The Strigoi Ghoul King is a decent option for this, because they're good fighters even at very low level. I'll think about it. And we just used him to summon, but now if we're going to be defending against Archaon, and there's a difference. Though
I'll be all-powerful.
Raise that, well, we don't have Unliving Host here anyway, but it would be nice to have points to get the Unliving Host, because it would power up this army fairly significantly, as currently, look at our poor Graveguard, 27 on those Graveguard with great weapons when unbuffed. It's pretty weak. But anyway, we'll figure this out next time, as well as what other battles we can find. We are approaching the the forces of Naggarond and the forces of the Legion of the Gore Queen, so there will be many fight here to fight as well. And Aldous has also got a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, 47-42, a lot better. He can move to the Fortress of the Damned. He can continue destroying Wintertooth. Plenty of battles to be found, so stay tuned for him. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. Don't forget to vote for the next campaigns. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.
Follow me.